All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of brisket and barbecue, Lone Stars and Longhorn, this All In Colts, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in, and Merry Christmas season. It was a wild one in Foxboro. The Colts getting their first win in Foxboro since 2006. That's the Marv game. We'll talk through the game and give you our Mayflower move and Lone Stars of the game. So let's go All In Colts.
Yes, I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. We are the Unstable Blues, happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Yep. The Colts beat the Titans, now beat the Patriots, and Gerard Mayo.
Yep.
If they win against the Titans, the Colts will have the clean sweep against Mayo this season.
Yes, that is correct. Mr. Mayonnaise and Gerard Mayo will be.
Yep.
I mean, you eat mayo all the time, so
I love mayonnaise.
We gotta get more mayonnaise just since you've been home from college, because you just sit there with the bottle out.
I don't know about that. That's a little
not quite. Yeah, you're generous. You're generous with your mayo there. Yeah.
I guess so. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Christmas tree's put up, but it's not fully up, so I'm sure it'll change throughout the episodes and stuff like that.
Ready? Little game for people. Okay. It's like one of those picture games when you're a kid where you have to point out the differences. So every episode, comment what has changed about the tree. And if you can correctly point out the changes in the tree, we'll get you something. We'll shout you out, or I don't know. We'll decide on a prize. It'll be a Christmas gift. It'll be a Christmas gift prize for whoever can correctly comment the changes in the tree from one episode to the next.
Yeah,
there we go.
There could even be none. So we'll see.
Could be.
Yeah.
No injuries to report.
Yeah, I was about to say no
Nothing.
injuries. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess gets us onto the narrative. The Colts bend don't break defense was on display from the get-go as they held the Patriots 11-play opening drive to a field goal. Still 0 touchdowns on the first drive against the Colts.
Yep. Then they proceeded to craft a 7-play drive capped off by an AR to JT floated touchdown pass.
Yep. Love it.
No one was around.
Yes. I told you the closest person around was Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah.
The Patriots scored another field goal, and then Anthony Richardson threw an interception right on the last play of the first quarter.
Questionable time management there. We mentioned it at the time. We were looking at the play clock. We were like, do we run? Do you run a play there? Do you not run a play? I guess it's okay to squeeze one in. I just wait. Oh, should have waited.
Yep.
That led to another field goal for the Patriots after the Colts' stingy defense again in the red zone.
Yep. Richardson, you good there?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Richardson then ran a touchdown in from 3 yards out to put the exclamation mark on a 8-play, 70-yard drive with the patented 360 spike.
I love that it was back. I think we celebrated twice on that touchdown. Once for the touchdown, once for the celebration.
Yep, exactly.
The Patriots answered with their first touchdown.
Yep, a Austin Hooper touchdown.
Yep.
Whew. I know. A Colts punt and a Patriots missed field goal ended the half with the score 16-14 in favor of the Patriots. Not looking so hot, but still doable, down only 2 points.
Yep. Still in it. The half opened up with the Colts chewing up 7 minutes and 34 seconds off the clock, but only managing a field goal.
Yep. Sad outcome of the drive, but hey, putting them up 17-16. The Patriots answered with their own 13-play drive, but Julian picked the ball off Hunter Henry's helmet before it hit the turf at the goal line. It was either Hunter Henry caught it and it was a touchdown, or Blackman caught it and Blackman got it.
Yep. Never hit the ground. That only led to a punt after a questionable offensive pass interference penalty on Michael Pittman Jr., wiping away a Drew Ogletree 3rd and 2 conversion. You want to see it? You want to see the replay? I know you do, because this is 2 in 2 weeks.
But you're going to see Pittman come inside, and it appears that he tries to avoid. This is a judgment call. It looks to me like just at the last second he tries to avoid.
It looked like he was going to pick him, but it was the idea. Didn't touch him. Not.
Nope.
It only matters if you touch him.
Yep.
No contact. So
last week looked much worse.
Yeah.
Last week looked much worse with Alec Pierce. But.
Yep. Exactly. Where are we? That resulted in an Antonio Gibson 11-yard touchdown run, but a failed 2-point conversion left just a 7-point game at 24-17 with 8:43 left in the game.
Unfortunately, Christian Gonzalez proceeded to intercept AR's very next pass intended for Alec Pierce, but the Colts came up with a rare and timely 3-and-out defensive stop in this game.
Yep, that left the Colts 5 minutes, 34 seconds to go, 80 yards to score a touchdown.
19 plays. And 3 fourth-down conversions later, the Colts were only down 24-23. And that left the decision to go for 1 in the tie or for 2 in the win. Now, I reminded you at the time of my score prediction was
23-24 Patriots.
Yeah. And so I was a little fearful as I saw them. I almost immediately go 2. We're going for 2. Like Anthony Richardson stayed out there. There was no question. What would you have done? You hindsight. What were you calling for at the time?
Oh my bad.
That's all right.
So I never once called go for 1.
Right.
I never once called it. I said go for 2. I like it.
You said Dan Campbell it. That's what you said.
I did.
Direct quote.
I said Shane, embrace your inner Dan Campbell.
Yep.
Now, 2 different things. In the moment, you just throw a pass touchdown, you pass the ball because that's what you just had success on. That was kind of my thought. That as an offensive coordinator or as an offensive player myself, if something works, you don't stop doing it until they stop it.
Right.
But before that, I was like, okay, you get the touchdown here, you go for 2, you let AR run it in because he's angry at all the stuff that had happened beforehand, which I'm sure we'll get to. So you let him do it. Take matters into his own hands. Let him get it done. Let your quarterback prove it. So, in a way, I was right. I just called it differently as the play was happening. So.
Yeah, you called it. Don't run. Well, it was.
I saw a play action JT. Oh no, I knew it was coming.
What we've been calling since the arrival of Anthony Richardson is the RPRO game. That is not just a run, a pass option. It is a run and a pass and another run option. And that's what it was. It was a read option, and it was a fake to JT, and let's go get it straight down the middle, Anthony Richardson. He ran over the nose tackle and their top tackling middle backer in the process.
But the Patriots still had 12 seconds left.
Yeah.
Julian Blackmon barely missed a second, and game-ending interception would have been with one hand too. Almost got it, but they managed to get to about midfield. 68-yard field goal attempt. Here he comes, trotting out. He's ready to take the kick of his life. He kicks it. It's a solid kick, just under the uprights. I saw that go. I'm like, oh no way! We just lost on a league record-breaking field goal. I mean, that's the Colts' luck, isn't it? To lose to one of those types of things.
Yep.
So didn't happen though. Came up short.
It's the hope that kills you.
It is. It definitely is. So Colts ended up winning 25-24.
Yep. My prediction was wrong, and I'm glad it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Stat sheet time. Anthony Richardson went 12 for 24 for 109 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. So basically kind of like 50% on the day.
Yeah. I mean, the stats also just like last week don't necessarily show everything too crucial.
And all the Anthony Richardson haters out there are going to be like, you're just going to keep saying that. You're just going to keep saying that the stats don't show. That's what you're just going to keep saying just to defend him.
We're winning football games, aren't we?
You obviously don't watch the game. I really hate it when people say, oh, you don't know ball. I think they misunderstand how much film we actually watch and how much we actually invest into doing this that we do, and the fact that you actually played the game and I have coached the game. So
I understand it better than like 50% of the people out there saying that you don't know ball. You don't understand it unless you play it or coach it. Like, it's just different. It's a different atmosphere down there.
Yep. Continue, stat sheet.
Continue. Drake May was 24 for 30, 238 with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. So obviously did better than they are, but didn't pull out the win.
He added 59 yards on the ground to Ramondre Stevenson's 73 on 18 carries.
Yep. Jonathan Taylor had 21 rushes, 96 yards, and had a touchdown receiving catch.
Yep. Anthony Richardson complimented JT on the ground with 48 yards, 1 touchdown, and the 2-point conversion.
Of course. Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper were the top targets for me, like we had said, with 75 yards and 42 yards, respectively. And Hooper also had that 16-yard touchdown catch.
Yep. Pittman led the Colts receiving core with 42 yards on 5 catches.
Yep. The Patriots defense had 0 sacks or quarterback hits, but decided to play tight, deep coverage.
And it worked. I mean, 109 yards, he didn't have the deep ball, and they took it away. And they came up with a lot of good pass breakups, some of them questionable, but we won't get into that too much. Definitely less problems than last week. Yeah.
Yes.
Zaire Franklin led the Colts with 12 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 TFL, a pass breakup, and a QB hit.
Yep. Great day for Zaire. Nick Cross had 9 tackles, getting in there as always, a sack technically, tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit.
Yep. EJ Speed added 9 tackles to TFL, a pass breakup, and a monster hit on Hunter Henry early in the game. Maybe should have been flagged, but I'm glad.
Two big hits on him early in the game.
Yeah. True.
DeForest Buckner added the other sack, and Kwity Paye in his hometown game shared the sack with Zaire Franklin.
Yep. What are some of your intangibles? You mentioned that the stat sheet doesn't show it all. So,
yes,
you said you have a lot. Lay it on us, sir.
I think the big one is the drops. Major drops in crucial times from the receivers. You and me were talking. We had a controversy about the AD one I don't know where you stand on that now. I stand exactly where I did stand. Yes, it was good defense. AD should have pulled it in, though. I don't care what anyone says. You're a wide receiver. If you see, because he stuck his hands out, and the defender's hand was already there. If you see it there, raise your hands up just a bit and catch it up where they can't reach up and get it, because then it's a flag. Granson had the catch where he laid out for it. Yes, it's harder whenever you have to lay out for it. But just look at Josh Downs. He catches him, laying out for the ball. I guarantee you Josh Downs catches that ball. Granson, boom, right through the hands. Missed it. He had 2-3 big catches that he could have had that were dropped. Elway was kind of just dropping everything. It was frustrating to watch. That's a big reason why his completion percentage is super low. It wasn't necessarily him. It was just drops. I'd imagine his adjusted passer rating isn't terrible, or like at least his adjusted passer rating in terms of completion percentage. And then there was I was towards the beginning of the game, whenever the penalties were kind of equal, they had more yards for off of penalties, not off of penalties, but against for penalties than we did. But we had, once again, bad timing of penalties. So towards the beginning of the game, kind of penalties was on my list, but then we didn't get much else later in the game. So that was nice. The Colts O-line stepped up big, and no holds or anything like that. So I had one other one. Oh my goodness, I forgot. I don't know. I think a big thing was here, let me recheck the stat sheet to see if I'm saying this correctly.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. The Colts outran the Patriots, and outran them as in carries, like yards on the ground.
Number of carries. Got it.
Yes. No, not number of carries. Yards on the ground. We outdid them in yards on the ground.
Check that again.
What?
Total,
59.
Like, rush yards?
Yeah, just rush yards.
Rush yards or rush attempts?
Oh, sorry, not rush yards. But like, I'm just saying productivity was more on our side.
Okay.
In the run game,
gotcha.
it was more on our side.
Okay.
Sorry, I was counting Ramondre Stevenson and May. Forgot about Gibson. But the productivity on our side of the ball was a lot more efficient than they were. And our keys to the game, or mine, isn't pass the ball and keep passing the ball. It's run the ball and keep running the ball. So the Colts did that better than the Patriots did.
All right. Offensive line. Line play took a huge step forward from the last 2 weeks. Gonzalez, Bernie was back. Gonzalez moving to right tackle with Braden gone with a personal issue. Glowinski from a couple of years ago. 3 years ago, coming back in off the practice squad to replace Dalton Tucker. And then Danny Pinter stepping in to replace Ryan
Bortolini.
Tanner Bortolini. So, and did fabulous. You mentioned the penalties. I'm sure if you're coming from the Patriots side, you're talking about the penalties, right? That's why we lost the game. Penalties. You would not be wrong. We talked about that last week. And fair or not, some of those holds were close. It's kind of the way it goes. If I'm having the same kind of conversation on the other side, I'm really disappointed with some of those calls and things like that. But the tight coverage could have been the same way on the other side for the Patriots defense. So, and then Second week in a row with an offensive pass interference. So Colts really got to figure that out. It was on the same side, almost the same play. So whatever's happening there, got to make it less obvious. Maybe don't put the hands up, right? Both receivers put their hands up. Maybe do a little juke there, something to get out the way. Do what you need to flood and get out, right?
Yeah, I like that.
You mentioned the drops, specifically Kylan Granson. This is his contract year. And he has not had but maybe one kind of big play. Most of what's in my memory is the drops. The drops and the drops and the drops. This is not how you want to have your contract year. I'm also going to bring up, okay, you mentioned the run on the 2-point conversion. And we talk a lot about how Shane Steichen plays chess sometimes at football. The Colts were 3 of 3 on 4th down conversions on that last drive. They were 4th and 3 twice. Once from the goal line, goal to go, and then the other one that Mole Cox scramble, right? And then the 4th and 2, they had him sprint out. So 4th and 3, they passed it twice, which set up a 2-point conversion from the 3 of a run.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, makes sense.
I like it. The Colts lost the turnover battle, time of possession, rushing yards, total yards, first downs, and still won the game. Red zone efficiency, 3 for 4 for the Colts, 2 for 6 for the Patriots.
You know what that comes down to? Bend, don't break defense.
That's correct. With that, what is your Mayflower move of the game?
There's 2
game-changing
that I can think of.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with kind of the obvious one here. It's the 2-point conversion call. Are you kidding me? It literally won the game. Yep. I don't think how that can't be the Mayflower move. Gutsy call by Shane. Balls of steel. I mean, getting in there, going, trusting your guy to get it done. AR got it done. Do you have the celebration he did afterwards?
Oh, right. Yeah. They didn't show this broadcast. No. This was the Colts circulated this one on social media. He did get fined last week for his angry run on Brian Branch.
Yes.
He may get fined again for this one. Man.
That was his message to the Patriots. He's like, here, take this.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah. I whatever he gets fined, I'm sure he's going to say, worth it.
Yep. Yeah. I love it.
Okay, so, but like that 2-point conversion, that's one of those calls that, like, if it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't work,
then you're an idiot and you sold.
Like, literally, if that doesn't work, people will point to that as the reason you're not going to the playoffs. Like, easily to do that, right?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what a team is. If you are able to complete those short plays, those big moment plays that are short downs, then that is playoff caliber level of play, in my opinion, if you're able to capitalize on those moments.
Right. And that is exactly the reason why, one of the reasons why Anthony Richardson was drafted to do just that kind of thing. Yep. I'm going to say, okay, yes, but just so we get a little bit more, honorable mention to the goal line Blackman pick, because like that was a huge momentum swing, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going in for a touchdown at that point. That could totally change everything, right? So even though it didn't result in anything, and they ended up getting a touchdown, it took more time off the clock, and they didn't score there, change the momentum, right? I'm going to give you the 4th down and 3 conversion to Mo Alley Cox. Because one of the things that Anthony Richardson has not been super great at is scramble drill kinds of things. We saw a couple things. We saw some rollouts, the little bit more kinds of things like that this week. But to be able to scramble out like that, and then I mentioned to you while we were watching it, you go back and watch that play. Mo Alley Cox comes out and across, finds a good hole in the defense, but then in the scramble, adjusts just a hair over, still maintaining that where that space is in the defense, but just enough to capture his quarterback's eyes with his big mitts and just grab it. So, because if you don't have that play, you can't have the touchdown. You can't have the 2-point conversion.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
That was the first 4th down conversion of the 3 on that drive. Who is your lone star of the game?
I was going back and forth between 2.
Okay.
I think I'm going to end up with Jonathan Taylor, though. 96 yards on the ground, touchdown, a receiving touchdown, over 100 scrimmage yards on the day. I think I told my player to watch as well. It was JT. If JT does well, the Colts do well. It's kind of how it moves. Maybe things are shifting. Maybe it's if AR does well, the Colts do well. We'll see. Maybe talk about that in a future episode. So, but as of right now, it's JT. JT moves. Colts move. So that's got to be my start of the game.
I agree. I agree with you. If Julian Blackman comes up with that pick, I know you and I both, you mentioned in it, and I'm going to shout it out. If he gets that last pick, that's star quality, lone star of the game right there. But I am going to pick Anthony Richardson. I know he only went 50%. But if you put 3 more or even 2 Granson drops in there, right? Or, put 2 more in there. He's not 50%. He's over 50%. And that's still an improvement from what some of the things we've seen this season. And
it adds more yards on top of that, at least 50 yards on top of it.
But in the moments, he makes the plays. And at the crucial times, he puts the team on his back to do what needs done.
And that is exactly what you want out of a quarterback.
That is a franchise quarterback. It doesn't matter how the rest of the game goes. When the game is on the line, I will run over anybody who gets in the way. And I will do what's necessary to make sure that the other team gets.
Takes the L. I love it.
Yep. Well, that is it for today. We'll be back with our update from the South, look around the AFC South tomorrow. And then later this week, we will have our Unstable Pick 6, our Fantasy Stable, and our look back at successful Colts calls we've made throughout this season.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.